Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jeff. We're going to take a look at a few what solds for right now, and then I'll wrap the video up later tonight. Right now it is Wednesday. Let's see. It's not a watch. I think around 2. Didn't have that many sales yesterday. Haven't had that many sales at all. I did sell that Mexican bark art yesterday, but they ended up getting me down about a third of what we had kind of agreed upon. And I'm curious, for those of you who do like local meetup sales and whatnot, how do you handle like when you basically agreed on a price? And it's tricky because when you're dealing with collectibles, I was trying to explain this to my wife when she was like, why did you let it go for that price? And I'm like, well, you have to weigh everything on the spot. I didn't want to ship these because they were fragile. I did not want them to go through the post. Sales have been slow. So we get accept offers that we might not want to. Collectibles have such an arbitrary value. They're only really worth what one person is willing to pay for them. And yes, I have done very well selling these things in the past, and ironically enough, they've all sold locally. It's like I had them listed on eBay, and I guess there's just a market for Mexican bark art around here. It's very bizarre, but so I accept an offer. But how do you guys, do you walk? Do you kind of like weigh the decisions as well when someone's trying to get you down off of a price where you've kind of agreed upon? It's kind of annoying when if someone wants to kind of like barter and whatnot. It's kind of common courtesy to do that before the meetup. So I was okay with it. I was still annoyed, but what are you gonna do, right? You kind of just you gotta take the sales when you have them. Another thing that I accepted a lower offer on that I kind of feel like it has more value, but at the same time, I had this listed for 40 and someone made me an offer for 22 and I accepted it. It's a really cool XMen poster. I can't make out the artist, but it's also limited. It says 3 of 250. That's the artist name right there. It was cool. Magneto, Wolverine, Apocalypse, a couple of the villains here, Mr. Sinister. I sold this for 22. I can't even remember. I can't even remember where I got this. Let's see here. This was a funny story. So I sold this pin for $13. I had it listed for like $13.20 up against the wall, commies. And it's in really good shape. Like it's very old. It's in really good shape. I had this listed for 13 and change, and somebody made me an offer at 10, and I'm like, I pretty much countered where I was at. I was like, given the condition of this, I can't really do any better. And then he countered at 11.50. I countered at 13 because I was just like, fine, we'll do this little dance. And then he countered at 12.50, and I stayed pat at where I was at. I'm like, that was like my line in the sand. And then the offer expired. So then I will do this from time to time when I feel that I've underpriced something, and I kind of felt like, I'll give him the chance to purchase it. But if that offer expires, it's fair game, right? So I did raise the price on this to $17. I was like, I think it's, given the condition, maybe I mispriced it the first time. And then the same guy came back and made an offer at 13 at my last offer. So I accepted it. I'm not going to be a jerk and not accept it. If it was someone else who made an offer for 13, I would have probably countered at, say, 16. But I'm not a total monster. I do want a sale. I just, sometimes there's a bottom line where you're just like, you know what? I don't want to sell this any cheaper. And that's kind of what happened with that. I sold a couple of adapters. I don't really know what these are. Yeah, they're just like a couple of, like, there's 2 of them in there. I sold 2 for 30, plus 10 shipping. They're pretty heavy. These 2 things are gonna, like, they're over a pound. And then I accepted an offer for $8 on this comic. I sent some offers out, but right now, since my last What Sold video, that's it. There is one thing that I want to talk to you about. 3 things. The glass cup that I bought for that buyer did show up yesterday. I haven't heard back from him, so he's probably either he got it and he was just like, yeah, okay, that's nice that he, I kind of was expecting him to, at least send a message and say, hey, I was surprised that this came, but it did show up. The other day when I was speaking with eBay about Vero stuff, apparently you cannot use the phrase lightning fast charging. I guess Apple has that trademarked. So if you use those 3 words together, you will get a Vero. Lightning fast charging or lightning fast charger. I'm not sure, one or the other. Just be aware of those. And so I have this cover of this comic. I'm not gonna show the whole comic. I'm not gonna show the whole cover. It's Death Hawk 2, and it's a bit of a controversial cover, but it's not violating any eBay rules. There's no nudity on it. I don't want to show it here because I don't know what is kosher with YouTube, and I guess this is a little bit of a frustration on my part, kind of about the world that we live in these days. Is I've sold this book on eBay in the past, but I'm trying to like walk a very, very straight line with eBay just to keep my account in as perfect or as clean health as possible. So I created a draft. I called eBay. I was speaking with the customer representative. She transferred me to the like prohibited item section, and I explained to the representative, so this is the department that you need to speak with. They should know and be able to give you a definitive answer. So I said, hey, I've got this comic. There's no nudity inside. There's a bit of a controversial bondage cover. So I was like, Death Hawk 2, the year, the grade, and in the title, it's a bondage cover. I put the word bondage cover in there because there are collectors in the comic world who specifically collect bondage covers. Like, bondage is just a word to describe something. It doesn't have to have a negative connotation. I mean, it is a fetish, right? Like, if you're doing that in the comfort of your own home, there's nothing wrong with that, right? So I asked the lady, I'm like, is there any way, if I list this draft as is, if somebody who is super religious, super conservative comes along and they report it as being offensive to them, is that going to get me in trouble? Or does eBay look at it and are they like, there's not, this seller is doing nothing wrong. We do allow these items. There's no nudity. There's no sexual. There's nothing sexual. There's no sex inside. There's nothing that this seller is doing wrong, and then that's just dismissed. Or could that potentially have a defect on my account? Could not get a straight answer from this department. They were like, well, you should probably remove the word bondage from your title. That would increase your chances of getting flagged. So you can't really use the word bondage in a title, or you run the risk of having that whatever item it is taken down. And yeah, they were like, yeah, there's a possibility that it could be taken down. I'm like, so okay, so I'm calling you to make sure that I'm following the guidelines. I'm trying to, check all the boxes and get an okay from you that I am not doing anything wrong. And what I'm hearing from you is that it should be okay, but there is still a possibility that I could get a defect on my account if either eBay flags it or if another member says, I'm offended by this cover. I'm like, but you can't tell me. You can't give me the comfort and being like, okay, you're not doing anything wrong. Like, don't you guys like see how that's a little frustrating? You know, we're trying to follow the rules and they're not really telling us what those rules are. Yeah, so I'm not going to list it. I have another website. The issue, and I told her, I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to list it. So eBay's going to miss out on this sale. In the past I have sold these. It's probably been about a year or so, maybe, since I've last sold one. I'm going through some of my old stock, and I'm trying to pull out some comics. So I found it, pressed it. It's super high grade. This is actually a really hard cover to find and really high grade. I probably would get like anywhere between 50 and 70 for it on eBay. But I have another website where I don't have to worry about anything when it comes to, you know, I can even sell things that have nudity in them. You just kind of, you can't show the pic. You got to cover anything up. So it's nice that there are websites out there that you can sell things stress-free and not have to worry about it, but it's a problem. Like, censorship is a problem. It's, you know, I come from a generation where, you know, things weren't like this. And what do you guys think? Like, do you agree that, you know, even though it's a controversial cover, but there's nothing fundamentally breaking any of eBay's rules? Like, how do you guys feel about trying to like contact eBay, get clarification, and then you're basically told a very ambiguous answer? I know that it's a little frustrating for me because I'm trying to follow all their rules, and yet they're not, like, you get the department, but you don't get a straight answer. So a little frustrating. Anyhow, I'm gonna end this here, see what else sells throughout the rest of the day, and we'll be back in a bit. All right, guys, local sales to the rescue. This is a cool psychedelic 1960 poster board, sun god. I don't know what you call it. Lady contacted me. I'm going to be meeting up with her in about an hour and a half. She's picking this up. And then another person is coming later this evening to buy this. It's like a wooden tile. It's it's called Granville Island, unknown artist. It's 10 years old. It's pretty cool. So yeah, 20 times my money on the combined what I paid for these and what I'm selling them for. So thank goodness for some local sales coming in, saving me, because eBay sales are anemic right now. So, all right, guys. All right, guys. So I just sold this. First sale of the day. $39. A little surprised it sold for that much, but yeah, I'll take it. Alright guys, we're going to finish this video. It is now Wednesday, 11 p.m. Just have 2 more orders to show you guys. Got a few other things in the works, but, you know, some offers I sent out, communicating back and forth with some buyers. So it was another slow day. I made a little bit more today on eBay than I did locally, and I had 2 really good local sales. So, but you know what? I'm deciding. I'm done complaining about slow sales. eBay is going to be what it's going to be. They're either going to fix their issues or they're going to fade away into obscurity. And, you know, whatever it is, we will all have to adapt. You know, I'm trying to look at slow sales as just a lull before Q4 hits, even though we have no idea if Q4 is going to be good. I'm not banking on it. I'm not expecting it. But you know, I decided today I'm going to... So there's another website that I use to sell kind of like, you know, for example, that comic that I was talking about earlier. And I try to only have kind of like just those comics on there. So, but I have the option that I can link an eBay store to that site, and it just imports everything in there. And I basically got that ball rolling today. I am gonna just link one of my stores to it because eBay's slow, and it's simple. It doesn't, the only thing is that it doesn't delete the listing on eBay, but I never get that many sales on there anyhow. So, and truth be told, if it happened to sell on both sites, I'm always going to default to eBay and cancel the order on the other site. And they're pretty cool about it. They don't really have any big penalties or anything like that. So there's one thing that I'm going to do. Hopefully, you know, if other reselling or selling websites are not smelling blood in the water with eBay, they should be upping their marketing. They should be doing everything they can to capitalize on slow sales. But then again, maybe they're having slow sales. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. So this is one of those sales that it just blows my mind. Two of these Surrey Beaver Club Museum Historical Society. This is just, I don't know what it is, to be honest with you, but they're just 2 pins. They sold for $14 and change. Yeah, and they've got like rust on them. They're not even in the best shape. But on the front, they present well, which is what's most important. And then I had sent an offer out. I've never heard of this. It's called Vault Boy. They're kind of like, let's see what they look like. Two of these sold for $39.99. Oh, they pretty much look exactly what they look like on the box. So yeah, I had them listed for $50, and I sent an offer out, and he accepted. He asked me some weird questions about it, and sometimes that's a harbinger of bad things to come when a buyer's asking too many questions. It just is. Like, if you've been doing this long enough, it's like, oh no, we got one of these buyers on the line. But that's going to Canada. And yeah, I didn't tally up today. I've been so busy listing today, listing and kind of also taking a break, just getting caught up on some paperwork and whatnot. So the numbers weren't that great. So it's not even worth me going back and trying to figure out. So, you know, I just wanted to get this video done, edited, and published, so you can kind of see what has sold over the last 2 days, I think, is when I made my last video, or maybe a day and a half. But yeah, you know, not a lot. Hopefully your guys' sales are doing better. You know, let's just regroup and you know, see what happens tomorrow. One thing I did want to ask you guys, a viewer sent me a message today, and he basically is saying that a lot of his comments and other comments that he has noticed have been deleted from my channel. And a lot of them were kind of like on that one post where I did about eBay and the Matrix. But I believe he had made a reference to other videos that had some comments deleted as well. In fact, when you go to the eBay is the Matrix post, it shows there's like 97 comments, but like when I went down and counted them, it looks like there's only 75. So I don't know if 22 comments have gotten deleted. I have not deleted a single comment since I've started this channel. I don't really believe in censorship. It would take a lot for me to delete something from the channel. And so I'm wondering if anybody else has noticed any of their comments that have gotten deleted, and maybe you thought I did it, but I haven't deleted anything. So it's something to pay attention to. I do get an email sent from YouTube when a comment comes, but it's not one-to-one. It's kind of like, I feel like it's only like certain ones that I get an email for. It's weird. It's eBay's back office is not the easiest thing to view all the comments, because you've got comments coming in from your most recent video, but then you also have comments coming from other past videos, and it's like once you read them, or once they show up on this one feed, then they kind of disappear. And so I'm sure that there is comments. I legit do try to read every single comment, and if it warrants a response, I will respond. I'm pretty active that way, but I know that there's ones that I miss. And so it's not that I'm not reading them, it's that it's not super easy to, like, maybe it's just me, but it doesn't seem super easy that they're all in one spot, and they're kind of, the way they're kind of nestled in when people make comments, it's confusing sometimes. So let me know if you've noticed anything about any of your comments disappearing, and keep an eye open for that, and let me know if you believe that your comments are getting deleted. The viewer that messaged me today, it was basically said a lot of them were comments that were not speaking very highly, and they might not have even been my comments. A lot of times they were readers' comments that they were kind of critical of eBay. So I don't know what's going on. I don't want to jump to any conclusions that YouTube is deleting comments, but it's certainly something now to keep an eye open, and letting you guys know to keep an eye open for. So anyhow, if you're still here, I'd appreciate if you fed that YouTube algo. That would be amazing. Like, subscribe, comment. Keep an eye open on your comments to make sure that they're still there after you comment. So anyhow, have a good evening, guys, and we will talk to you soon. I almost forgot. I don't actually know if this deal is going to go through tomorrow. This guy, we've been back and forth for a month now. He's not from the area, and he only seems to be here every once in a while. He's interested in this painting. It's from Antoine Blanchard, and it's not a painting. It's like a wooden print kind of thing. I don't know. I'm still learning. Yeah, I'm still learning art, but I'm pretty happy with how things have been going. Like, I definitely, I do have a passion for art, and it's something that I do want to get into more in the future. And it's encouraging to see so many of the pieces that I pick up sell. I literally got this one. I showed you guys when I picked it up, but for those new subscribers, I was at a church sale, and it was kind of like by donation. And I had already had a pile of stuff, and it behooves you when you are at these, sales or anywhere, it's just constantly keep looking around, because I noticed in this one corner there was all these art pieces, pictures, and I ended up picking up an Egyptian Nefertiti, kind of like a cloth painting that sold already. This, and then I believe there was one more, but I can't remember. I'll remember when I see it next. But yeah, I essentially didn't really pay anything because we had already made the deal, but I asked if I could grab a couple, and the lady was like, yeah, absolutely. Because it was literally at the end of the day, I actually helped them out too, because I had taken a couple boxes of stuff to just donate because they were just trying to get stuff out. So these were all pieces that were just, everyone else overlooked. And it's a beautiful piece if it was actually a painting and not a print. Like, I can imagine the original was probably gorgeous. But yeah, I just want to show you guys this as well. I'm leaving now. I'm ending the night, guys. Take care.